Hello, friends. Welcome once again to all of you. The very topic that is in the news is the TamilNadu Indian southern state, whose administration is under the confrontation in governor and the council of ministers and the chief minister. Actually, DMK is ruling there. MK Stalin is the chief minister of Tamil Nadu. The very development and very dramatic scene that has happened in Tamil Nadu right now since 1 month, and everybody knows that the governor's role in every state, just you see, and I think 1.5 year back, you will see the governor's role in Maharashtra. So the question comes out to my viewers: what role governor has to play in a democratic system? Yes, it is a very genuine and very relevant question. What the role does governor play in a democratic system, and particularly in the state and central relationship? Sarkaria Commission was formed and is recommended to make a concurrence on the topic of central-state relations, but that council was not formed. His suggestions was set aside by the central government and is not implemented till now. But the N. Ravi, governor, who was the governor before in Nagaland and was transferred to the Tamil Nadu, and he is in the loggerhead with the MK Stalin heading the government of Tamil Nadu. The very recent development that has happened in the assembly, he was delivering, actually the governor was delivering his lecture in the assembly, but he deviated from the written speech. So MK Stalin came into and he approached into the assembly, and Mr. Governor Ravi Ji stepped out from the assembly. So the governor, who was invited to deliver his address at the first session of the year, skipped references to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and E.V.R. Periyar, the Dravidian model of governance and law and order in the state, situation in the state. Soon after the speech, the Tamil Nadu CM Stalin rose from his chair to disapprove the remarks and moved a resolution to have on record only the government approval version of the speech. So his speech was first written, that has to be delivered by the Mr. Ravi was supposed to, but he deviated and goes into the Mr. Ambedkar, and a idealism which was not written into their speech. It is not only regrettable, but against the rule of house, that the governor did not read the full text from the prepared script for which he had given his assent. Mr. Stalin said that because he deviated into and After his, Ravi walked out of the house before the national anthem was played. Then DMK leaders who call out his insult of the nation. The BJP and allies in return ask the DMK and ally parties to behave like fringe element for petty political gains. So there was a controversy, a speech controversy between these two constitutional authorities. So you just think about what the role governor plays, and in a democratic system, role of governor is in the question mark. Many bill Mr. Ravi, governor, have not signed as passed into the assembly. So the governor's role is question mark. Every state is complaining about the governor's role, but those states who are driven by the BJP-led government and BJP-appointed governor, they are making their concurrence on the topic, and there is no problem. If there is opposition in a state, then there is a problem with the governor and the chief minister and the cabinet of ministers. So the roles I am going to tell you about what is written into the Indian Constitution about the role of governors. Governor role is same as that of the president role at the center. Governor must have to act in the consensus with the chief minister and the cabinet of ministers. Chief minister will give the advice to the governor, and governor will add as an executive power. So from Indian Constitution, Part 6, the state in the constitutional framework. So I am telling you, appointment of the governors, 157 article. No person shall be eligible for the appointment of governor as a governor unless he is a citizen of India and has completed the age of 35 years. There is two criteria for becoming a governor. The age should be 35 years and he must be a citizen of India. There is two criteria. There is no any other eligibility criteria. He must be a BA or BCom here. Educational qualification is not mentioned into the constitution. It is just has written two criteria. If you are aged above 35 and you are Indian citizen, so you can become governor. So I am focusing mainly on the chief minister role and the governor role. Council of Ministers, Article 163. Council of Ministers to aid and advise the governor. Clause 1, 163. There shall be a Council of Ministers with the Chief Minister as the head to aid and advise the governor in the exercise of his functions, except in so far as he or by or under his constitution requires to exercise his function or any of them in his discretion. If there is a violation of constitution, there is, in the constitutional framework, there is Schedule 7, in which a state list and center list and concurrent list has been given by our constitutional framework designer. So in this scheme, the state can make rule in their own sphere. If they are making concurrent list laws from concurrent list, then it's okay. But it's if on that topic, if center makes the law, the center law will prevail. This is the same. This is a thing. But if any controversial or anything which is affecting the state's outer boundary or anybody interstate system, then governors comes in and the president advisory needed for that. So he can hold the bill and send to the president for his consent. If president allowed it, then it's okay. Then a governor's sign is not needed for that bill and it will be passed. Assume that is a passed bill. But governor has some degree of he can use his discretion, his mind, his discretion, and can. If governor goes against the constitution and using always his discretion and set aside the council of ministers' advices, then also the violation of Constitution of India. And 163 clause 2nd. If any question arises whether any matter is or is not a matter as respect which the governor is by or under his constitution required to act in his discretion, the decision of the governor in his discretion shall be final, and the validity of anything done by the governor shall not be called in question on the ground that he sought or ought not to have acted in his discretion. Means he can use his discretion on some matters. The question whether any, and if so that advice was tendered by the ministers of the governor shall not be inquired into any court. Means if the council of ministers advising to any matter to governor, this advice cannot be called in any court. The court cannot define what is right, what is wrong in that context, in the advice context. He cannot scrutinize what advice has given by the ministers. If the governor can use his discretion only on if there is a violation of constitution. If the state authority is not going through the architect of the constitution, then governor should have step in. If normal functioning is going on in the state, then governor doesn't have the authority to intervene into the functioning of the government. Okay, so actually what Tamil Nadu governor is doing, Mr. Ravi, is that he is withholding many bills. I think 23 plus bills he has uphold in his office. He is not signing. If he will not sign, that will not become the law. So he is actually not going through the constitution as he is supposed to. The chief minister shall be appointed by the governor. Okay, Article 164. Chief minister shall be appointed by the governor, and the other ministers shall be appointed by the governor on the advice of the chief minister. And the chief ministers shall hold office during the pleasure of the governor. Pleasure of the governor, what does it mean? That means that doesn't mean that governor can fire the ministers anytime, whenever he wants. It is not like this. He cannot fire any any minister without the advice of chief minister. Chief minister is the head of the council. He has to take decision who can be in his minister cabinet. Okay, so only if any minister not following the advice of chief minister, then chief minister can request to the governor to fire this person because he is not following the advice given by the chief minister. So this is the actually pleasure of the governor. Okay. The Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly of the state. Okay. Before a minister enters upon his office, the governor shall administer to him the oaths of office and of secrecy according to the forms set out for the purpose of third schedule. Means any minister who is any member of assembly wants to become a minister, he must have to take oath and will be administered by the governor. For that, it is written in the schedule 3rd of the constitution. The matter who by any period of 6 consecutive the minister, article 164 clause 4, a minister who for any period of 6 consecutive months is not a member of the legislature of the state shall be the expire of that period cease to be a minister. Any member can be a minister if he is not the member of assembly, only 6 months. After that, if he is not becoming the member of assembly, he would be fired off. So there must be consensus between the governor and the chief minister. Governor must have to act according to the advice tendered by the Council of Ministers. It is same as in the center, as the president acts according to the advice tendered by the Council of Ministers as headed by the Prime Minister. And Prime Minister always advise to President what they have to take action, because of executive is the president as governor in the state. So there must be consensus between these government authorities, but many times since India become independent, as many states have gone through the president rule there, and center actually appointing the governor, and the governor is not acting as a constitutional head, but just you see the Supreme Court has always has rendered his decision to the governor that the governor is a constitutional office. He should not act as an agent of the center, but most of the time the governor is acting as a as an agent of the center rather than his becoming a constitutional head of the state. So it is a problematic thing. So which way it is going ahead, just look and see what is way ahead. But the governor must have to act according to the constitution framework and must have to take advice and act advice rendered by the chief minister, and not to always use his discretion, and obstinately it is not good. Thank you very much.